glad that we got a chance to read that verse, to go in depth in it. We need to touch that. We need to touch that on another day as well. Also, before we get started, I wanted y'all to look at sometimes start looking at Exodus 21, and I want to have a pre-service discussion on Exodus 21. Brother Steve asked a question about it, so I want to be able to, for us as a group, to look at it, to bounce and see what sticks. Okay. All right. Here we go. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Greetings to the 12 tribes of Israel, scattered but not destroyed. We would like to say all praise to the Most High Yah, who is our Abba Father. And we'd like to say greetings. We'd like to say all praises to his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, who is our chief high priest and our king. To our brothers and sisters that are gathered here today, I would turn the camera. We got a full house. We want to thank Yah for the people. And we know that there are more to come. Also, as we get started today, I want to touch in his image. Whose image? I just say created in his image. So I would say a new kind of spin that he's given coming from me as far as health, as far as our culture. So I was very grateful. I hated that we didn't get a chance and give him a chance to speak about One Nation Israel Radio, which is one of the stations that we should be listening to, contributing to, because it's supported. So we go to www.
Can I change that a little bit?
Yeah, radio.com. So I'm going to ask a question to the book. Okay. Okay. So according to the script, we were made in the image of Yah. Correct? According to his likeness, correct? Okay, those who want to hear Bereshit, chapter 1. Start. Go ahead.
After our likeness, and let them have dominion over the sea, over the fowl of the air, over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. So Elohim created man in his own image. In the image of Elohim created he him. Male and female created he them. And Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion over the fish of the sea. And Elohim said, behold, I have given.
Okay, good. That's good. So, scripture says that man was created in the image of Elohim and according to his likeness. I want you to look at those two words, and we're going to go over just those two words today. Image and likeness. I'm going to start with likeness of a, let's say, a characteristic of something. If I'm like something, we share similar what? Characteristics. Okay. So we are made in his image, his characteristics. So what would you get from image? I mean, from the word image. What would you get?
You're going to do image and likeness.
Image.
Image.
Let's look at image.
Image.
What kind of definition would you get from it? Somebody give me a Western definition. A copy,
A reflection.
a reflection, a resemblance, a picture, feature, a mold. Okay. Now I want you to go to Exodus 20 real quick. I've been wrestling with this thing for about a month now, and I'm like, I already teach it. He's like, nope, you have not. You are going to go through this, and you are going to get these words right, and you need to see something, because evidently this is one of the things we skip over. We just read it, we take it in, we're made in his image, according to his likeness, and we go on. And we miss our purpose and our function, all in those two words. Those who are chosen to be his people, our whole manuscript, our whole life, our whole function rests in those two words. Image.
And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah Eloheka, which have brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other Elohim before me. You shall not make unto you any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath.
Stop. I'm operating against his very word. Think about it. If he told you not to make anything engraved, a likeness of something means what at something. If we take this word, what is the Hebrew word for image?
Image is Salam.
Salim.
So 6754.
I'm gonna get a bunch of flack for this, and I don't care. So
Can I read the definition while you're going over there?
you can read that one here.
Yeah, when we go to the definition, it says image, okay? And which is weird, it says heathen gods, mice. So I want y'all to think about that for a minute. Go ahead.
So, in the Hebraic sense, this word represents, let's start with the first letter of the word image. The first letter of the word image, Salim, is Zadi. Zadi. Give you a quick look see. I'm going to spell it for you. This first letter is the Zadi. Okay? Now, after doing a bunch of research and a bunch of studying, there's about 15 different graphical views on this one letter. Okay, it can mean the hunt, a trail. It can be a man laying on his side with his right side exposed. A bunch of them to get to the final destination, but I'm going to use these as a man laying on his right side. And the reason why I want to use it as a man laying on his right side. Now, the word image does not mean carbon copy. It is not a molded shape. I want you to understand this real quick. It is more, the root of this word is a shadow. It comes from the Salim really is a representation of a shadow or something cast behind something. Okay? And look at Yahamashiach. He said that I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man cometh through the Father except through me. We should be a representation of Hamashiach. And so to be he who's leading us. And Hamashiach is always walking towards what? Light. So evidently, if you aim to, I got to thinking about this scripture, and I went into several different scriptures. Let me see if it's rock. And when I walk past, I'm going to cover your eyes so you can't see my face, but you'll be able to see my glory. We were made in the image of his glory.
Hallelujah.
Does this make sense? We were representation of his glory here in the earth. That is why Hasatan was so fine. How many instruments Hasatan played? He was jealous of man because we were a representation of Yah's glory. The angels aren't made in the image of Yah. Over them. Why? Because we're the shadow that he casts. And as Yasharel, as his people, we should be that shadow. That's why I asked you, whose image are you made after? The image. It said, every man that is in Yahshua HaMashiach is a new creature. Old things on a new likeness, a new image. So you are a reflection of the Most High Yah. Do you understand? That's why he has to ask permission. This is because you are dealing with the image of Yah. All this credit, God's time. Oh, it's the devil that did it. No. He had to ask permission to get to you. Which means Yah said, he's in me. And I'm in him. And so if I'm in him, he can stand in me.
That's why your actions declare his glory. That's why your actions declare his glory.
So when I look at this word, Salim, when I looked at the word Salim and I saw the Zadi, it can mean, like I said, it can mean a trail. Well, so I looked at that in the trail and I went to, well, he leads us in a path of righteousness. For what? His name's sake. So then I was like, well, dang, you're going to lead us down this pathway of righteousness for your name's sake. But then he said, no, I want you to look at it as a righteous man. Because you can't follow after the footsteps of the Father if you are not righteous. You have to first be righteous to get on the trail. What won Abraham? What won our father? Why? What won him was that he obeyed the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. To look at is everything else, the noise, the distraction. We want to look at charts. We want to look at language. We want to look at all these things. And Yosh and I, I always quote this. I always go to Ecclesiastes 13 and 12. What it says, the conclusion of the whole matter. The duty of why you get so people see other than that, it either is their perception is bad, maybe off, or you jacked up.
But even with that being said, listen to what Ak is saying, everybody. Because if the Most High gave you dominion over all these things and you feel the Most High, wouldn't the image of you that's being presented to anything that's inferior to Yah, wouldn't you be able to do it? Hallelujah.
The thing about the sister that they said was crazy that went into the lion's cage in the Bronx. Y'all do this. It's like a lion. Yeah. She was just sitting there shooing at the lion, and the lion didn't budge. And it caused him to question something. Who did she see? When Daniel was in the lion's den, the lions didn't charge Daniel. Because let's just be honest. If a lion looking at me, he's going to be like, delicious. I'm going to get some calories off of this one. And he's not that fast. I can catch him. But if I'm in the image of the Most High, he won't attack. The enemy, when he sees you, he wants to get at you, but he can't. See, the hedge of protection that we always talk about is actually us being in our right place. Remember when I talked about grace and being inside of the camp? The enemy can't affect you if you're in the camp because you're under the grace of the Most High Yah. What is grace? Being in the camp. So then when we look at this Zadi, we get righteous, right? So our next letter, Lamed, the Lamed, one of my favorite letters in the Hebrew language. What does the Lamed represent? It represents a staff. What kind of staff? Shepherd's staff. What else does it represent? Guidance, to teach. What else? He who holds the staff controls something. So if you're holding the staff, what is it a representation of? A king holds a staff. Thank you. Authority or leadership. But basically, it is the staff is the authority over the people or over something. So it basically means authority. Okay. Mem. Well, when you look at the picture, what does it represent? Flow. You use flow because it shows a transition from one place to the next. Most water flows what? Down here. It follows, most water follows what? Something else. What does most water, What? So, thank you. It follows a path. Most water follows a path. It flows a certain, you have the righteous man who has authority over what? Movement. And I'm going to put flow. So when you are created in his image, you have if you are righteous or if you're on the trail, let's even use trail. If you're on the trail, you're on the path of authorized movement, or you are the righteous man who authorizes movement. But either way, you are moving under an authority. Okay? So we got image. Somebody run it back by me again. What is in it? What is the image of Yah? It is the righteous, authorized movement. Now I want to tell you something. The letters Lem does mean movement. So now we're going to look at likeness.
That's Hebrews 18:23. The month likeness similitude. Resemblance, shape, fashion is another word that's used, or manner.
So this word is spelled Dalid, Damut, Dalid. I'm going to draw a different mem. Mem, Va, Ta. Ta. Okay. What is a Dalid?
Door,
Door,
law,
opening, a portal,
portal, yeah.
to enter into a portal, to walk through a portal from one side to the next. Okay. What is mem? Once again,
Flow.
water flow. So if you take those first two letters, Dalid and mem, what Hebrew word does that spell? Dom.
Down.
What is dom?
Yeah, blood.
Thank you.
Blood.
Dom. Where you get the word Adom. All right. What is Va?
Is it could be a fish sometimes?
It represents a tent peg.
Yeah.
It fastens or connects something, right? So you have at this point the flow or the blood that is connected.
Well, it can be the end. Because something can be what it can be. If it's like this here, how is it clean? To stop. To stop, right? Yeah. It's a good one.
It's a mark.
There you go. The spot. Yeah, it's the mark. The mark.
X marks the spot.
Could be the mark. Yeah.
But it also means a covenant.
That's right. That's right. Because that is the
When something is signed,
yes,
it's a covenant. So Va connects you
to the
to
blood covenant. The blood covenant.
There we go.
To the blood covenant. Because the tie is also depends on what letter is that? Shucks. Not iron. Is it iron? When it makes it clean or unclean? This one's joined. Okay.
So God's likeness is what? A blood connected covenant. This is why I'm like,
The blood covenant.
what was in it? Because people always say, because he wants everyone to think that they are equal. We are not like them.
Chapter 9 when it says all Israel is not Israel because all Israel is not walking in the blood covenant.
You can forfeit. Why do you think Yah? Look, ooh.
That's why I said that. I want to see
You can be in the same house and not be in the covenant.
Exactly.
Woo! You can exist in the same space with the same with the same. Abraham had two sons, Ishmael, and who else? Come on, talk to me.
And Isaac.
and Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
One was the son of the covenant and one was not. Why? Because he did not fall under the blood covenant. And I'm not like you.
Hallelujah.
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 So when you have people in these houses and these women and these men who have several different kids with different mamas and different daddies, and these kids are like, why do you love this one more than you love me? Covenant. Why did Joseph get a coat of many colors?
Esau and who?
Esau and Jacob. Twins came out the same womb, shot out, choo choo, one after another. And one had to serve the other because they weren't made in his likeness. That's why it was very important. Find them scriptures with Joseph and Esau, Jacob and Esau. It was very important that they described them. Anytime they give a description of something in the scripture, you need to pay attention to.
Genesis 25. Right?
Yeah.
25, yeah. Start off at 23. 25, 23.
I'm going to touch something with you real quick, and you're going to, everybody looks at, okay, so dealing with Hebrew Israelites, what do we focus on as far as the difference between those two brothers?
Skin color.
First of all, let's just be honest.
He wasn't white.
He wasn't white. They came from the same mama and the same daddy. So whatever they were, he was.
That's right. That's right.
So the teaching is that he was red. Reddish.
Yes, reddish, yes.
Okay. So if you use camp logic to describe Esau, you have to use that same logic to describe David, because David was considered ruddy as well. So if you use that logic and that teaching, you are thrown off, completely thrown off. Ruddy does not have any skin. It is the mixture of clay. And so if you get red clay, because there ain't but three different, I'm going to use something there's enriched soil that you find where? In the jungles. It is dirt black. Then there's brown soil that you find in the, usually next to riverbeds or banks. Okay? High nutrients. So he pulled man out of the ground, right? And he formed man in his image. What is his image? It is the righteous man who what? Who is in charge or who is in an authorized movement.
I'm sorry.
This, well, since he let the cat out the bag, we'll just go there. What we are basically saying, those who are called to be in this thing are in a specific bloodline. You have if you are righteous, you should be walking down that authorized path to the according. Look, so let me just break it down real quick. It says, and I'm going to write it so you can read it.
Flow. On the path. Mm-hmm. That's deep, man. That's deep. That's nice. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I got y'all in a lot of dead space, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. No.
yes,
It's gonna make sense though. When you say
you're gonna see it.
it makes sense, man. Mm-hmm.
So in those three, in that, let us make man according to our image.
Go ahead and finish your thought.
Oh yes, yes. Oh shoot, yeah. I gotta highlight something. Thank you, Rod. Okay, and I wanna break it out loud. Righteous men on the path authorized movement. That move was authorized move according to a blood connected covenant. Yo, huh? Breaking the language down.
Because let me simplify for 1 second. Let me simplify for 1 second. Okay, the Most High he's not going to break that promise because he spoke that with Abraham. Now, since he made that with Abraham, then
that's what makes us different than any other seed. Look, go to Genesis 5, real quick.
Let me touch on one point.
Hold on. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me touch on one point. The authorization part. What most people don't realize is in organized religion, they keep removing
Authorized movement. What is y'all's authorized movement? Authorized movement. Those people of the book.
They're the people of the book. Exactly.
That's instruction.
This is instruction. This is his authorized. He gave it to a group of people, and that bloodline is going to teach the whole world.
That's the point. That he gave his word to a bloodline. All through it, he reinforces what? Teach the word.
That's right.
Because his wish is that no man will be lost, but that teaching rules.
Mm-hmm.
That's why into the script, if you take out the authority.
That's right.
And so when they tell you the Old Testament is done away with, is you rely on the book, the word with God, and not let there be. It gave instruction. So a Torah was established from the word "let there be," and as is set aside seed. Do you understand? You can be born in the same womb, lived in the same womb, walk the same walk, talk the same talk, eat the same food, but if you ain't selected, you ain't the one. You only have a choice to be grafted in, and you still got to follow the rules.
Brother Rod, didn't we just say that? Did we just say that?
Unity. But if you don't follow the, what keeps you in the camp is following the rules of the house. And if you in contrary to the rules of the house, you can't stay. That's what happened to us. Not only did y'all kicked us out the house and set the house on fire. So every time when y'all says it grieves him that he ever created man,
That's what I'm talking about.
he wasn't talking about them.
Huh? Right. There you go.
Look, went on in another platoon. It was my platoon.
Mhm.
You marched by my call. If you did not, guess Mr. Skillcraft. What was the most important weapon in the military? Thank you.
Mhm.
And this is what we went through with our. What do you think us coming out of Egypt was?
Exactly.
He took those people. Look, he went into Egypt with 7,
Mhm.
came out with dang near 300,000 men, maybe a million men, maybe 3 million. So you can just imagine how many women, because we make more women than we make men anyway. And then we didn't even count the slaves.
Mhm.
We didn't even count the people, the mixed multitude of people.
Mhm.
So we go into the image thing again. How did he lead us out? How did he prepare the way? He gave 10 plagues. 10 plagues. Get your mind right. He had to get your attention. I sent the shepherd, you ain't gonna listen to him. So I'm gonna do 10 great acts. So you can see who the first part of Exodus is really based on who he is. You gonna send me in there? So I need to tell them who you are. Oh, tell them how. What? I am that I am. I sent you. And I want you to listen to me. I'm gonna give you signs to show them. Now I want y'all to realize this. You don't think you the people of the book? We got signs. We don't realize. Look, who 28? 1 through 68. That's another sign. It lines up with us. It don't line up with Ashkenazim.
You should be the salt of the earth.
These things, you'll be the head. What? You're gonna be the tail. Us. We the most creative people on the planet. Like I told you before, man, these folks over here ain't create nothing except the patent office. Their only ingenuity is that they figured out the book and figured how to use it as a noose over us. Like Yo said, Eli Whitney didn't invent no cotton gin. No. They get credit for everything that we do. You wouldn't. My favorite movie, The Matrix. Didn't nobody know that a black woman wrote that a daughter is on. Newsflash. Y'all asleep. Wake up. Take this red pill. What's the red pill? Oh, it's the authorized movement. What's that red pill? Torah. Take your book back. Man, there's so many times I want to go to one of those dang synagogues and just walk in and go and grab them dang Torah scrolls and walk out. But I know it'll be a fight. And my wind's short. And I don't know. I could probably take a few of them, but I can't take them all. My wind's short. So we'd all have to go on there together. But there's so many times I want to grab them Torah scrolls and walk them. Take the whole ark. Just walk up out of there and show them how it used to be carried. Okay? They guard that thing. Because they know, man, they know that, look, and we can't really be mad at the ones who are really practicing. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they're doing it as right as they can. I mean, look, we're not Talmudic. So we don't even look at that book. We don't take any. The Talmud is just like one of them big old commentaries to me. So we don't look at that. But as far as people keeping the days, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, ain't even got that right yet. Like I said, we don't even keep Sabbath right. I'm so glad that one day he's going to return, teach us how to do this thing right.
The mind-blowing thing for me is, as the people who are the salt of the earth, and we can play back outside of Torah, and all the nations follow us. So just imagine what they're going to do when we follow Torah. Just imagine that.
When we walk according to the script, that's what they fear the most. Y'all together, y'all need to move. After the I was done. But he forced me in it because there is something that you have to realize, that while you running around here doing whatever it is that you want to do and claiming that you doing it according to the most, that's the thing. Then you need to step your game up. If we are a shining light on top of the hill, we need to start shining. And you ain't shining cussing people out. Hallelujah. You ain't shining having these battles and these fights. There are more fights in the treating the tide form. You sitting up there defiling the sisters, but you in Genesis chapter 1.
Genesis
Chapter 5, verse 1.
In the day that Elohim created man, in the likeness of Elohim made he him. Male.
Hold up. Every time you see likeness, say blood connected covenant. So every time you hear him say likeness, just say blood connected covenant. Okay, go ahead.
In the likeness of Elohim made he him.
Blood connected covenant.
Male and female created he them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam, in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot a son in his own likeness.
Hold up. There we go. In whose likeness?
His. Adam likeness.
So whose likeness are we in?
Y'all got what he just said, huh?
Hmm?
Y'all got what he just said, right? No, read that again out. Read that one more time.
And Adam lived, this verse 3, and Adam lived 130 years, and begat a son in his own likeness, after his image. And called.
One second. I want you to read it one more time, but slow. I want
Real
everybody
slow.
to get it.
And 30 years, and begat a son in his own
In
likeness,
his own likeness.
after his image,
After
His image.
and called his name Seth, or Seth.
Stop. Now, let's look at that part. Well, Adam was made according to the image of Yah, which means then his offspring was made in the image of Yah. But what we are seeing to realize is that there was a fall from grace, and that men took on another image. And what did it say about man? That man was born and he was evil all of his days, right? There's another thing that said that we were born in what?
Sin.
And shaping in what?
Iniquity.
So is that Yah?
No.
Hold up. I want y'all to answer that again. If man was born in sin and shaping in iniquity, how in the world do you think we are made in the image of the Most High? We are made in the image of who's shaping in sin and iniquity.
That's right. Because we failed.
We failed. So the process is to get back what? In the And how do we get in the blood connected covenant? Go to Ecclesiastes 13 and 12 again. I want y'all to read it all the way out.
Say 12 and what out?
It's 13 and 12.
13 and 12. Ecclesiasticus?
No, Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes. 12. Okay. Yeah, it's 12. Yeah.
Okay, 12 and 13?
Yes, sir.
What does it say?
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Stop. Let us do what? Hear what? Let's hear the end of it. What is our duty?
Fear Elohim and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man.
What is keeping? If you've been here, you ought to know.
Guarding.
Guarding. So our job is to do what? To guard his commandments. That's it. To fear him and to guard his commandments. That's what puts us back in his image. Mm-hmm. Because he defends his word.
Right.
Whew, hallelujah. Let's go back to Genesis 5. Because so we've established that during the fall flesh, that we were no longer walking in the image of the Most High. We took on the image of sin. Who is the father of sin? Hasatan. So we started walking in the image of the deceiver. That's why the world became wicked. Realize this, in the beginning, the world wasn't wicked. Why wasn't the world wicked? Well, we look back in Genesis 1, chapter 26, and he basically tells us he made trees and stuff, and that the fruit of that tree was our meat. It was never his intention for us to kill anything. Mm-hmm. I want y'all to get this through your head. It was never y'all's intention for us to kill anything. Why did he put the tree in the midst of the garden? Why did he put the tree of life in the midst of the garden? He put Yeshua in the midst of the garden so what? We could eat off of him. We could live eternally. But he had to separate us from him.
Would it be safe to say, since the children of Adam was made in his image, if they was under the covenant, he would have put them back in the garden?
He guarded the garden. Let me keep you away from the tree. Look, that was our punishment. Do you nowadays, what do parents do to them kids? Give me your cell phone. They disconnect them from the internet. Y'all disconnected us from life. From that day forward, so there was a statement made at the meetup last week, and it said that us eating meat was the cause of us dying. No. Okay, let's clarify that. No. Y'all didn't give us anything that was going to kill us. Okay? I want you to understand this. It's not the meat that killed us. It was our disobedience that sent sin into the world. And what does sin bring forth? Death. Why does it bring forth death? Because sin is moved without authorization. That's why he told us, look, of all the trees in the look, Hasatan is so cunning in his works that he made that tree look so good. Mm-hmm. And we're not going to blame the woman, because that's another thing that we do as men of Yasharet. No, we're not going to blame the woman for that, because the law was given us. That's right. That's right. Right, we had the authority. He who has the staff controls movement. So if you got the staff, men, it is your authority to control the movement. No, you can't. You can't. Because it was Adam's job to teach Chawah. And then he could have just said, well, you ate off that tree. I'm not doing it.
That's right. Adam had so many things he could have did to make this right.
He had an exit.
Do you know he couldn't atone for her sins?
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't atone for her sins. But the first thing he did was blame it on her, which is anti-Torah because he was over the woman.
Yeah. Blame it on the
He should have said,
rain.
well, it's my fault because I should correct this.
You don't look good when you blame y'all. Because the woman you gave.
Yeah. He blamed y'all.
If he took accountability, right? How probably would be acting different. We don't know, but
Just like I told, like how you told David when he took Uriah's wife. Could have gave you another wife.
Oh, hey, there we go. I could have made one look just like
I couldn't exactly because if she committed adultery, which that is, he had the right to put her away. He had that right.
But if he chose not to and redeemed her, and they could have still been in the garden. But see, this is another thing about camp doctrine that we run into, is that we want to put off the blame on everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's everybody's fault.
But we don't know. This was interesting too, because we don't know how much time passes between Adam eating and the Most High, him hearing the Most High coming through the garden. Like that probably was days, man. I don't know, weeks.
Go back and read Mishma.
Well, he tells you that in the evening or the cool part of the day, he was with man because he was talking that. Look, he loved us. He wanted to be with us. I'm telling you, you don't want to hang out with us.
To show you what you're talking about.
4.
Yeah.
There's Genesis 3. Genesis 3. Genesis chapter 3, verse 7.
And said unto him, where are you?
Go ahead.
Verse 10, and he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid.
So this is Adam telling the Most High that he heard the Most High. Now, when we understand the word, but did he really hear him?
No. It means to obey.
To obey. So if he heard him, he would have obeyed him. He would have went to him. But he ignored him. So he couldn't have heard him. Because when the Most High called him, he would have went.
And this is what we keep running into all along, all the time.
Number one, he was afraid the Most High. And he was what? Sin.
Yeah, so he was exposed.
He was exposed.
It wasn't that he was butt ball naked, even though he was. He was created that way. But what he was saying was, I'm open.
Exactly.
I'm known.
Exactly.
Something else has gotten into me.
And I hid myself.
So hold on. Do you find a parallel that when we broke the law, the Most High began to hide himself from us? You see the parallel?
What is sin called? When we talk about hate, we talk about a thorny seed. What does a thorny seed cause you to do when you step on it? Causes you to yank back, or if you grab it, it causes your hands to open. So Yah does not like sin. So when we talk about hate, it's not an emotion, it's him drawing away from us.
Exactly.
Yah, so
And he said, who told you?
God gave you something contrary to what the Most High gave.
Reestablish not. There's no reason for you to be shamed when you're in me.
Exactly.
There is no condemnation in him.
That's right.
So you are out of me. So who gave you that authority to be out?
Because the Most High should have been the authority.
Boom! Boy, my knee didn't hurt. I get up and do you understand what's going on? This dialogue, this is a court case going on right now. Adam and Yah are.
Exactly.
Yah has Adam on the stand, and he is drilling him. Under whose authority are you naked? Because I never told you were naked. And don't you understand, if anybody ever had a fig tree? Do you understand fig leaves are the most itchiest things? If you get that white stuff on you, fig juice will have you lose your mind. It's worse than when you first start getting dreadlocks. When you first get locks in your head itch, Can you imagine your sensitive regions being touched by a prickly leaf? Yah is drilling at him. This is the first court case.
You were naked. Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat?
Now, this is where Adam had a chance to start fixing it. Go ahead.
And the man said,
And Adam said,
the woman whom you gave
there you
to
go right
be
there.
with me,
There you
she
go right
gave
there.
me of the tree, and I did eat.
So Yah has already presented to him. Number one, I'm authority. If I called you, why have not you answered and come to what I asked you to respond to? Adam's reply is, well, I'll answer to this other authority. So the Most High is asking, oh, well, hold on. You mean, what? Whose other authority then? What other authority? Then he says about the tree.
Did you eat of
Did you eat of it? Then he says, the woman you gave me. So do you see what's being played? He didn't fess up. He didn't take no ownership. And there was many opportunities he had to take ownership.
Don't this sound like your kids? Kids, I want you to listen to this. This is what y'all sound like to us. But my brother made me womp, 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 womp. That's exactly what you sound like to your parents. When you make these excuses, he was giving Adam an out. Don't forget, he will never lead you into sin. He'll always give you an out. Think about the most devilish, dirtiest, filthiest thing you ever did in your life. And then think about all the outs you had before you did it. You remember them days when it was like, you go someplace you ain't had no business going, you get in the car and the car don't start, or you can't find your keys. Oh, dang, this ain't the right socks. It's always something following where you ain't supposed to do this thing, but you do it anyway and you get in trouble. Yah does not want us to fall into sin. So he allows Hasatan to tempt us. But while Hasatan is tempting us, he is unlocking doors to get you out. Hasatan is closing doors and Yah is opening doors. Go ahead, Levi.
I feel like we do the same thing in direction. Like sometimes when we talk push us to do stuff, it's like you said with children, right? If they do something bad, when you go to a parent, right? You have to spank them, right? But the child do they go to this and we slam the door. You do the same thing as adults sometimes. We go through stuff, the Most High puts us through stuff, and we get mad. We don't even know we get mad at the Most High, but we are.
Exactly.
Our thing is we don't function in the authority that we have. Do you understand? With our bloodline, in our bloodline, we have an authority already written into our DNA that we don't tap into. That's why we're superior to every race on this earth, because we have something in our DNA. Look, when you look at us and you do DNA tests, we are the only people that really don't have Neanderthal blood. Let's touch this. Let's touch this since we got a few minutes. When they look at us, those people from the continent, there is no Neanderthal DNA in most of us. The only way in Neanderthal DNA was introduced to us was through slavery. Now, in the Japhites, it's all over them. It's all in them. And Neanderthals ain't nothing but beasts of the field. I want you to understand this. Ain't nothing but beasts of the field. We have taken on the image of something inferior and tried to look, even our black sisters, even our sisters, want to look like them, do you understand that you are trying to look like something inferior to what you are? And the whole time you are trying to look like them, they trying to look like you. Why do they want black men? Because they want our seed. Where we find you? If y'all didn't hear, she was like liquid gold. You dang right. That's it. Do you understand that what we have in us is a direct reflection of him? So when we look at these, I be tripping on them 5%ers, but they got something. We are gods.
Mm-hmm. That's why when Yeshua HaMashiach says, doesn't it say in your book that ye are gods? So when he was speaking that, they understood what he was saying because he was going back to us in the garden. So he was trying to bring them back and say, hold on, we trying to make the same mistakes our ancestors did. You need to hear I'm speaking for the Most High, for the Father. You need to hear my voice. Because he says, son, this is who you shall hear. You shall hear his voice.
I'm trying to put you back in the position of authority.
That's right.
Do you understand? I want you to have dominion. He ain't talking about, everybody thinks he's talking about when he say beasts of the field, he's talking about animals. No, he's talking about them other folks.
Exactly. That's exactly.
He's talking about them other nations.
The other nations.
What was the first thing that happened when Nebuchadnezzar went off? He ran off into the field and started eating grass, nails and all that came not long. He reverted right back to their normal state. To what? A beast of the field. That's what they are. You are a reflection of the Most High Yah. And it is our duty. Why do you think it's in their DNA too to follow us? Mm-hmm. This is where white supremacy leads you. They are actually bucking against themselves and they're mad about it. Mm-hmm. That's what white supremacy is. It's the inferior being mad because they're inferior.
What is the scripture? And they shall see that themselves are beasts.
Say it again.
They shall see that themselves are beasts. Is that Ecclesiastes? Ecclesiastes?
Mm-hmm. This is what white supremacy is. It's somebody, look, don't think that throughout the generations, they didn't put us through all these tests and are trying to figure out why in the heck aren't they dead? Why haven't we been able to destroy them? Us. We can make them, but they can't make us. Look at this room right now. It is a hodgepodge of chocolate, all the way to light skin caramel macchiato. It weaves us. Our hair protects us from the sun, can endure more stress and strain than anybody. Look, that's what they kept working. Slave, yeah, for 5 minutes, just long enough to walk over that row in the squat.
Chapter 3. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 18.
Reverse.
I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men.
Listen.
That Yah might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts.
Where's that?
Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse
Chapter
18.
3, verse 18.
For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts.
Huh?
What?
Huh?
Even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so died the other. Yea, they all have one breath, so that a man had no preeminence above a beast. Huh? For all is vanity.
Because the Most High wanted us to be gods. But when we fell from our rulership, we became like the beast.
Like the beast of the field. We became like them. That's why I'm harping this thing that you can be in the same house and not be of the bloodline.
Right.
Oh, we all Shemitic. But look, if you follow the trail of the bloodline, Shemitic bloodline, okay, let me go ahead and kill another myth. There is this myth that we should hate the Hamite, okay? First of all, you can't hate the Hamite. Why can't you hate the Hamite? Because the Hamite is all up in us. Shemites and Hamites occupy the same area. They bred. Now, y'all didn't want us to mess with Canaanites, but for the most part, a lot of Hamites and a lot of Shemites got down. That's what we did. Don't think that we didn't go into Mizraim with 70 people and the only thing we slept with was the 70 people that was in Mizraim. No, we mixed with them. Yes.
So doesn't the scripture say, don't hate Egyptians, something like that?
But these Hebrew Israelites have this weird doctrine that they're supposed to be mad at everybody else. And they sound just like Adon.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 7.
Thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, for he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou wast a stranger in his land. We don't preach hate.
No, not at all.
Because hate is not an authorized movement.
That's right. That's right. That's a good now. That's good.
It's not an authorized movement.
Right, right.
It's not authorized.
That's like part of our own stuff that we're supposed to like stomach it. You know what I mean?
But the Ak said something earlier, he repeated it a few times. If we come back to the law, statutes, and commandments, the Most High's mercy will be upon us. Matter of fact, I read the rest of 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 50, and it said the same
Go ahead and
thing.
read 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 50.
Yeah, go 1 Kings chapter 8.
So everybody can get fed from this.
I'm sorry, what we going?
1 Kings chapter 8,
Verse 50.
Verse 50.
You might well, just read verse 50.
Read down.
Chapter 8, you say?
Actually, 49 after.
Yeah, 48, 49.
Did you say 1 Kings?
Yeah, 1 Kings chapter 8. 1 Kings chapter 8,
Verse 50.
verse.
First Kings 8 and 50, right?
Yes.
Verse 50.
You started from 49. Started from 49. Started from 49.
Then 8 and 49. Then hear thou their prayer and their supplication in heaven, thy dwelling place, and maintain their cause. Verse 50. And forgive thy people that have sinned against thee, and all their transgressions wherein they have transgressed against thee. Starts with us.
Yes,
and give them compassion before them who carried them captive.
There you go.
That they may have compassion on them. For they be thy people and thine inheritance, which thou broughtest forth out of Egypt from the midst of iron.
Exactly. Which precept?
So we still mad at the people. We still mad.
You still mad at
We ain't forgave anybody
Exactly.
for our fault.
It's us.
And part of it is when we're showing our anger at the nations for what they did to us. Part of that is us not taking accountability.
There you go.
for our anger.
Runs rapid in Yahshua. We do not want to take responsibility. But everybody, hold up. Everybody is responsible for themselves, and that they need to take responsibility for them. Now, our sisters are in the position that they're in because we weren't men.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You say the same thing.
Right.
The same thing.
Right.
What I'm saying is accountability starts with the men. We're the leaders. We're the
Right.
heads.
Right.
We're the heads of our
We're the
household.
priests. We're the priests.
We're the priests.
Most High put the kingdom in our hands. I don't care what the women did. Women may have seduced the man to sin. Whose fault is that?
That's
The
right.
men or the women?
The men.
But this goes back to what
They
I'm
weren't
saying.
left alone.
This is why there's such a push on the feminist movement. This is why there's such a part on emasculating the man.
That every generation is reflected of the generation
Before
There
it.
you go. There you go. So because one,
Ahab got his punishment, Jezebel got her.
that's right. That's right. That's right.
We all gonna face judgment.
We all gonna face exactly.
I mean, like, Martin Luther so far, this is far, that ain't gonna matter when you face the Father.
See,
You know?
Everybody gonna have to swallow that pill. See, there's a difference because, and then we should be good over the umbrella of what we cover.
that's right. That's right.
And then they should be good under the umbrella of what they cover. We all have responsibility for what's beneath us and to what's above us. And so when we look at the woman or we look at the man, the relationship between man and woman, that's why I don't like, okay, this is one thing you will never see me do. I'm not yelling at somebody else's wife. First of all, she ain't my wife. Second of all, if she put them hands on me, I deserved it because I got out of my place. And a lot of brothers will say, oh, ain't no woman going to get on to me. Negro, please. You are responsible for your wife, not his wife. He's responsible for his wife. So if he protects his wife, like y'all defended the church and he put them hands on you, then you got to deal with what you do. It's not my responsibility. I need to come to you.
That's right. You go to the man.
Right. So say, for instance, your wife did something that offends me. First of all, we men. Let's chop it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to address your wife without first of all, without your permission.
That's right.
I am completely out of, I'm not in Torah. You see what I'm saying? So I need to come to you. That's my duty as a man, to follow that book. That means I got to come to you. And then you go to your wife. Hey, baby, you offended the brother. You need to fix that. You know? And then he can apologize for his wife, but that's still out of Torah. Because she has to make amends. She's going to give the ring.
There you go. There you go.
You see what I'm saying? But with your permission and consent. Because what is the scripture? You shall become one flesh. I think somewhere in the message, Hebrews have forgot that when you marry somebody, you become one flesh.
The arrangement, but the man is still in charge. So even though that she can sure that her part is established by making sure when she see her husband do something, she said, "Baby, can I talk to you?" Blah 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 blah, and she don't supersede him. You know what I'm saying? And then they fix that. But a lot of times I see that. But in the same scheme of things, if the men don't realize the challenge, like you sure how I said, the first challenge is gonna come where? In your household.
In your house.
In your house. So if you can't run your house, how can you run things outside of your house? You have to establish your house first. That's why the Most High did not go and he dealt with the other nations. He's trying to fix Israel. He's trying to fix his house first. Then when he fixed his house, then he can deal with the other nations because Israel is charged what?
With the nation.
With the nations.
I said to y'all, I'm a Christian, but I still say to y'all, I have to be in love with you. You're in love with me. We're in a relationship. You'll choose who you want me to love on my own. And I want him to be chosen in love with you.
That's right.
I don't want it.
That's right.
I'm in love with you.
That's right.
Then you and your guts up together, and then we'll have that perfect union.
This is why.
And
He's excited.
And he is your God, but the Most High, then it's no problem for me to follow him.
Yes.
Repeat what you just said, man. Repeat
Following
that.
him.
You got it. You pick it up. Fine.
Yeah, he's doing what he's supposed to be
That's
doing,
right.
and I'm gonna follow him.
That's right.
If he can't lead me, I can't follow him.
Ooh.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. That's why I tell sisters that a man has to come correct at the door. Don't be taking in no man that's struggling with alcoholism or lust, and then you gonna be patient with him. No. He gotta come correct at the door. That's exactly what she just said.
That's right.
This big picture right here. Let me break something down. Show me a scripture anywhere in the book where a woman picked her husband.
Repeat that again. How many times I keep telling you the same thing?
Show me.
Listen.
While we going in the authorized movement, wife, he findeth a good thing.
And from the womb to the tomb, they had the father or a righteous man to cover them. Matter of fact, if you go read the book of Leviticus, chapter 21, it really is going over that, how the man over the house, or over the people, he can make an atonement for his mother, for his father, for his sister, who is a what? A brother can do that for his sister, but a lot of people can't grasp that concept. It's his job to protect the women.
I saw when the man is out of the house, she's like cutting her.
Oh, it's chaos.
Yeah.
It's chaos. Look, how you bring,
Mm-hmm.
and don't you understand when you are in a house that doesn't have instruction or a leader, everything goes on.
Mm-hmm.
Kids running the mama, mama's not running the kids running
that.
You got these kids. Look, name one parent. Okay, so I'm 50. I'll be 50 next year. Well, this year coming up, and most of the other adults in the room are older than me. Most of them. Let's go back to when we were kids. If the school called your parents,
Mm-hmm.
who did the parents yell at? Did they yell at the teacher or did they yell at the kid? Was every adult right until they were proven wrong?
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I remember my grandmama used to tell me, I'm going to send you to the store. Don't let nobody come back and tell me you was acting a fool on the way back.
That's right.
I'm like, dang, you got eyes all the way up to the store.
That's right.
And you walk that straight and narrow because there were certain standards that we kept. There was an authorized movement in us. There ain't no authorized movement in Israel no more. Kids run the parents.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am. Not your kids, but in the most part, kids run the parents. Parents, not my child. Yeah, your child is an axe murderer.
Right.
You know, Jeffrey Dahmer parents.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe little Jeffrey ate all them people. You knew Jeffrey was bad in the beginning when he was cooking cats. You see what I'm saying? You knew your kid was going to be a gangster when he cussed you out and slapped you. Oh yeah, you can't whoop your kids no more.
When,
It's all prophesied, man.
there you go out. That's right.
Isaiah 3.
That's right. That's right.
You know, he's spelling all out to it.
Mm-hmm.
But they will rule over.
There you go.
Mhm.
Children be our oppressors.
Mm-hmm.
The beauty with Yemi'el is going over in Genesis chapter 3. If we can see with spiritual eyes, it's the same thing that's really happening to us now. There was a division in the household because the man did not rule over his house. So when you take the man out of the household now, what happens is they operate under another authority because the man is supposed to be the God of the house. I know you saw it. I know you look.
So nobody ever asked this question, and I want you to understand this. Hasatan to who first? He went to Chuar first. So my question is, we could have nipped this all on the butt. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Genesis 3, verse 6.
Hit it.
And the woman saw that the tree was good for food. It was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree desirable to make one wise. And she took its fruit and ate, and also gave it to her
There you
husband
go.
with
her.
her.
That's right. Thank
Is
you.
there all
So
Thank
my
you.
question,
He didn't step up.
Thank you.
Absolutely. He could have
He
said,
had-
stop talking to my woman.
He could.
Right.
Yeah, just that easy. Pick it up easy, doesn't it?
look, y'all, I think y'all is gonna free me from this. I hope. Well, I just want him to do what he wants to do. But I want you to understand this before we get ready to close. And we're really gonna close, April. My wife, every time I say I'm getting ready to close, she looked down at her watch, her imaginary watch. This, that's it. If the righteous man walks down the authorized path of movement according to a blood-connected covenant, he gets back in line to where what Abraham did was set up the redemption for us, to be honest with you. And the reason why I say that Abraham set up the redemption for us is because after Abraham had cut up all that meat, what did Abraham do? He fell asleep. And he went into a state of rest. And when he woke up, what did he see? Go ahead and find it real quick. Genesis 25. See, when people say that when people say that the Torah is done away with, I really get mad because now you're throwing away your covenant.
Mm-hmm.
When Abraham made the covenant with the Most High.
Was that in 15? Yeah, I think it's 15 now. Huh?
I had it.
Yeah, it's 15. Genesis chapter 15, start off at verse 9. Because that's when he presented the offering.
And he said unto him, take me an heifer of 3 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon.
Mm-hmm.
And he took unto him all these,
Mm-hmm.
and divided them in the midst,
Mm-hmm.
and laid each piece one against the other.
Mm-hmm.
The birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him.
Stop. No. I want y'all to get what's going on, though, because this is very important. What Brother Yemi'el just hit on something. Man, come on, man.
Go ahead.
No, man. Give me something right here, man. Golly, man. Woo. Woo. Man. Golly. Woo. Man, that brother had nailed on something. Read that again, please, man. Read it again.
Where am I reading from?
What you the verse you just read?
And the
12,
And the sun
verse 12.
was, and when this verse 12, and when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram.
Okay.
And lo, a horror of great darkness fell upon him.
Stop. What is that hall of darkness? He asked you to read the next verse.
And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
I'm done.
That's it.
I'm done.
And shall serve them and shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge. And afterward they shall come out with great substance.
Now they think they were talking about them coming out the initial Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't that.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we weren't in Egypt for 400 years.
Exactly.
And when we were in Egypt, the whole time we didn't spend under the servitude.
Right.
We only spent about 128 years or so in slavery or in bondage to Israel. I mean in Mizraim. So that don't line up with scripture. But if you look at this captivity,
Mm-hmm.
no other captivity lasted this long.
None.
But look at this captivity. Go ahead. Yes. No, we walked there on our own. We no, they didn't bring us nowhere.
That's right. That's right.
We went in this rain. So when the Ashkenazim says that scripture, no lie, Pt2 lie, and to get in that further land, it was
I mean, at verse 14.
Go ahead.
And also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance.
Hold on. Did he not? He judged Egypt. He hadn't judged this nation yet.
And you shall go to your fathers in peace, and you shall be buried in a good old age.
Mm-hmm.
But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorim is not yet full. And it shall come to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Stop. The burning lamp represents Yeshua HaMashiach. So Yeshua said, okay, since you can't walk this out,
I'm gonna do it.
so right here, I'm gonna show you something real quick. If Yeshua would not have walked out, I take on me.
Exactly. And they needed two to walk too. We all know Abraham was asleep.
Thanks. So yeah, they couldn't walk.
They needed two to walk to the covenant.
So when me and you make a covenant, we have to cut meat.
Exactly.
And it's both of our responsibility to walk through the meat.
Right.
And so we're saying to each other that whatever happened to these animals, if we break the covenant, it happened to us. So the tree of life came out of the garden. Boy, I'm about to go preaching. So the tree of life came out of the garden and walked down the road.
That's why you have two different. Read that again. I read verse.
Ooh. You done got me to where I want to run now.
Read 17 again. Read 17 again.
And it came to pass when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace,
okay,
and a burning lamp.
And a smoking furnace. When did the Most High when he went to the wind?
Do you boy, I've been in church too long. Do you understand what just happened? He got himself all the way through the book. And so when he came back and put flesh on himself and came down and went through the womb and came back and died in the flesh, he was actually fulfilling this part of the covenant. So the righteous man on the path, the authorized path of movement according to a blood-connected covenant. This is what we are as Yasharel. Matter of fact, you know what? Next week I am going to touch this because we got to go through chapter 5 so we can see. Matter of fact, we might have to go into Matthew so we can walk down the bloodline because I think this is important. If you don't understand the bloodline and your lineage, it's for naught. It's for naught. And you got to understand the importance of Judah in this walk. You know, we look at a lot of things, but we don't look at Judah the way we need to look at our grandfather. You understand, Judah was fourth on the list. Judah wasn't supposed to have nothing. Do you understand that Reuben was supposed to have it all?
Repeat what you just said. That's why.
Who else?
That's why Adam failed.
Who else took responsibility? There were two people in that lineage that took responsibility for something. Levi took responsibility too. That's why he got the priesthood.
That's why they ran together. That's why they run together. That's why they so close.
Now, and let's go about Benjamin. Let's trip on Benjamin real quick. Don't you think that don't you think that Ephraim and Manasseh should have been watching after Benjamin? Why did Benjamin run with the other two? They had the same mama.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But Benjamin knew who the priest was.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed close to the priest.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Benjamin, he was next to the priest and the king? Because Benjamin knew how he could get his prayer through.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
He done learned from everybody's mistakes.
That's right.
Man, look, y'all. I'm just excited about today's message. I'm woo. But we got to go through these bloodlines next week because and I even want to do some research, and we might have to break this down. We might just have to actually, we might just have to actually break down the names
Mm-hmm.
of our bloodline. We should, so we can understand what these names meant and what authority they walked in. Don't you understand that your name marks a characteristic in you, that you walk under that authority? That's why when we come into this walk, we rename ourselves. We hope that the Most High, look, when you're a slave, they take you and they change your name. Y'all gave me a name. You see what I'm saying? And my name is crazy, and everybody teach all the people. Yemi'el. That's what it comes from. And it means, look, y'all use water at a certain part of the day. So when we find a Hebrew name, it has to have a meaning. It needs to mean live next week. But I want to be a blessing to this ministry. We don't want to ask for money or dollar amounts because that's not how we function. But if you want to offer something to this, you can offer us at the Art DFW on PayPal. April, put the link in the room. Go, got me this computer. It got me these whiteboards. A minute. Get it all goes so that, and on next week I want to give him some time to talk about the radio station, and so that you is to the Most High Yah, and we're gonna close in prayer. Yahweh, Yeshua Hamashiach, who is the Word. We thank you for the word that you gave us today. Let it go out to feed your people, to feed your nation, that we will understand our position and who we are and what we're supposed to be. For we are a reflection of you, and we are made in your image, in your likeness. Now let us honor and praise, and we thank your son, Yahushua HaMashiach, and we give you the highest praise by saying hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.